Good evening, I'm Cryss Walker. Police are investigating an armed robbery at a phone store in Delhi Township. The Ingham County Sheriff's Office says two black males, one with a handgun, walked into the Go Wireless store on Cedar Street just before 1 p.m. The Ingham County Road Department says that this bridge can no longer handle heavy traffic, and they're proposing to tear it down and build a new one. Cordell Brzezowski's family and friends are circled around these candles to remember a life they say was cut short in a jealous rage. Yankowski is saying the teen was not injured during the arrest and that the investigation is still early. A 26-year-old woman was found dead at this townhome behind me here at Huntley Village, and we do know the identity of that woman, but we are not releasing her name at this time. The auto insurance reform bill is stalling in the House tonight after the Republican-backed bill was submitted. And a Detroit man has been arraigned on charges connected to the fatal shootings of 3 people and wounding 2 others, all in the LGBTQ community. And EB told News 10 she was rejected, so she couldn't challenge Mayor Derek Dobies, and she also told us that she appealed the city's decision with the Michigan Secretary of State, and she is waiting for a reply. Caution tape surrounds the doors at the Jackson Community Food Pantry after a case of contamination forced organizers to shut down. This is where neighbors caught the arrest of 2 teens on camera, a video that has now gone viral, and the mothers of the 2 teens want to know, how did the incident escalate to this? And if the president followed through on his tariff threats, Michigan would have been among the most impacted states. We import more than $56 billion of Mexican goods, much of which comes in the form of auto parts. Ingham County Sheriff's officials say they are still investigating the incident. They say that they responded to a call for a 43-year-old woman who was unresponsive, and she was found not breathing. Paramedics pronounced that woman dead on scene. Now, there is an option to keep the Camelback Bridge, but it will turn into a pedestrian walkway. And here is where the new bridge will be built for drivers to get by. Consumers Energy is telling me that crews stopped the gas leak that was caused by vertical drilling, but the utility company is saying that they are still investigating to find out exactly what went wrong. A fatal crash killed 2 children and seriously injured 2 others in Algonzi Township. Last night, a pickup truck rear-ended an Amish horse-drawn carriage. This is where neighbors caught the arrest of 2 teens on camera, a video that has now gone viral, and the mothers of the 2 teens want to know, how did the incident escalate to this?
It wasn't right, and I called her mom and I told her mom what was going on. I had her mom on the phone the whole time.
Erica Gray lives on the 1100 block of Dakin in Lansing. It's the same block where her 14-year-old son was arrested along with his 16-year-old girlfriend.
You guys doing this to them, how are they going to trust anybody? They're not going to trust nobody. How are they going to feel safe? They don't.
Lansing Police Chief Mike Yankowski held a press conference Friday afternoon about the arrest after the video exploded on social media, showing a female officer hitting the girl in the legs.
It is the policy of the Lansing Police Department that officers will only use force that is objectively reasonable, and that is the standard that has been put into our policies and procedures versus Graham versus Connor, 490 U.S. 386 in 1989.
Police say the 2 teens were resisting arrest for runaway, escape from custody, and probation violations.
They said she had several warrants, which she did not. She had no escape from custody, no runaway warrants. She had a probation violation warrant for not going to school.
Chief Yankowski says the female officer was injured during the incident and is currently off the streets. The teen's parents are telling News 10 they believe the officers were too aggressive and should be held accountable.
It's not appropriate, period. I don't think anyone should be punched, and especially for a child.
The 2 teens are currently lodged at the Ingham County Youth Center. Police say they were not injured. In Lansing, Cryss Walker, News 10. The driver behind the wheel of this SUV is Natisha Johnson. It shows her slowing down and stopping to check on a man who was found collapsed and bloody in the middle of the street.
I was leaving out for work, and as I approached the stop sign at the corner on 2nd and Biddle, it was a person in the middle of the street. They was kneeled down. All I seen was a lot of blood.
The footage was caught on Anthony Donahoe's security camera. He told News 10 many drivers passed the man before someone stopped to call for help. But the mother of 2 is telling a different story.
I pull up next to them to see what's wrong, so I roll down the window and I'm yelling, "Hey, are you all right? You okay?"
Now, this is where that injured man was found last Thursday, and Natisha Johnson says she's one of the drivers seen in the video, but she did not turn a blind eye.
My fear kicked in, like, what if somebody out here and they attack them? What if I get out and I get attacked? So upon pulling off, I did call 911 for help.
A call that she made 3 times and was so distraught by what she saw, she left work early.
My supervisor at work, he recommended that I go home. He sent me home because after going through that and seeing all that, I wasn't even in my right mind.
Jackson police told News 10 the man suffered from a self-inflicted wound and was transported to Henry Ford Allegiance Hospital.
And when I spoke to the 911 dispatcher, they said that I was the first person that made the call, you know what I'm saying, the first person that found that person in the street. So I didn't just drive off. I actually did get that person help.
In Jackson, Cryss Walker, News 10.